All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something that's, well, at the very heart of how Bitcoin works. Bitcoin Core.
It all boils down to this one big question. For any kind of money to have value, we have to trust it. We have to believe it's real and that someone can't just, make more of it out of thin air. After all, you only accept money for your work if you're confident you can actually spend it later.
With physical cash, a dollar bill in your hand, you've got things like special inks and holograms to build that trust. But what happens when money is just digital? When it's just a file that can be copied with a single click? How do you stop counterfeiting then? So, how does Bitcoin pull this off?
Well, the solution is pretty brilliant, actually. It's a system where every single person can be their own security guard. They use a specific set of tools to check everything for themselves so they don't have to trust anyone else. And that's exactly where Bitcoin Core comes into the picture.
So picture this. A full node is basically like an umpire in a baseball game. Its entire job is to watch every single play, every transaction, and make sure it follows the rules. It's a full verification node because it doesn't just take anyone's word for it. It checks every transaction against the entire history of the game to make sure nothing fishy is going on.
Okay, so if the full node is the umpire, then Bitcoin Core, well, that's the software that is the umpire's training, all their tools, and most importantly, the official rule book. It's the most popular, most widely used software that lets anyone turn their own computer into one of these independent verifiers.
So, what makes this software so special? What's the big deal here? It's not just a set of rules. It's the one that almost everybody on the network agrees to use. And that consensus, well, that's where all of its power comes from.
It's kind of like trying to play a game of chess, right? You can't really play if you and your opponent are using completely different rule books for how the pieces move. It would be chaos. Bitcoin Core, that's the one single official source of truth for the whole network.
See, by independently verifying every transaction, the software slams the door on these huge problems. When you're running a node and someone sends you Bitcoin, it's your own software that confirms it's not counterfeit, that it wasn't just created out of thin air, and that the person who sent it actually owned it. That's why people can trust the Bitcoin they receive.
And this is a really key phrase you'll hear a lot: reference implementation. What does that even mean? It just means Bitcoin Core sets the gold standard. It's the blueprint, the definitive guide that all other software on the network has to measure itself against. It is the ultimate source of truth.
So you might be thinking, who makes this stuff? Is it Google? Is it some big corporation? Nope. And the story of who builds and maintains Bitcoin Core is just as decentralized and fascinating as the tech itself.
Think about it. It all started with this one single anonymous developer, Satoshi Nakamoto. But from that one spark, it has just exploded into this massive, global, open-source project where literally anyone in the world can chip in.
So back in 2009, Satoshi puts out the first version. And over the years, developers from all over the planet jumped in, tweaking it, improving it, making it stronger, and it evolved into the Bitcoin Core project we have today. And just look at the scale here. It's wild. By 2023, we're talking over 1,000 different people had contributed to the source code. And these are volunteers, Some are full-time devs, others are just pitching in their spare time. It's a truly global collaboration.
And this idea of being open is absolutely everything. Because it's open source, you or anyone can go and look at the code. Because it's an open community, anyone can suggest a change. And its open license means it's totally free for anyone to use. All of this is what guarantees that no single person, no single company can control Bitcoin's rules. Okay, so how do you actually change the rules or add new features? It's not some backroom deal. It happens through this really cool, public, and totally transparent process called Bitcoin Improvement Proposals, or BIPs for short. These are just formal documents that lay out a proposed change, which is then debated, picked apart, refined, and tested by the whole community before it ever gets close to being adopted.
Which, it leaves us with this really fascinating final thought. If Bitcoin Core is the rule book for this new kind of digital money, who gets to write the next chapter? And as we've seen, the answer isn't a person or a company. It's that open, decentralized community and the transparent BIP process. It ensures Bitcoin's rules evolve not because someone says so, but through the consensus of everyone using it. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Could this model of open, community-driven governance work for other technologies too?